last time I could feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
Hamlet throwing the alley-oop and Kennedy with authority.
This is our game.
They can't hold us.
Time's about to expire, gets it away. Oh, Michael Cherubia!
Let's go! Y'all know what time it is. Newcastle Eagles
First, the Cheshire Phoenix.
We're live from the Virtue Motors Arena in Newcastle, where the Eagles are looking to shine in primetime in a northeast versus northwest battle. Stepping up, the Cheshire Phoenix. Both teams keen to get back on the winning trail. Very good evening to you. Welcome to Friday Night Basketball. Good to have you with us. Great to see Drew Lasker, Kieran Achara present and correct. Drew, I've got to come to you first. Your beloved Newcastle Eagles. Last season, it was almost unthinkable that a team that's seen this much success didn't make the playoffs, but they're in danger of doubling down again this year. What's going so wrong?
Well, Drake has a song called Know Yourself, and right now the Newcastle Eagles, they don't have an identity, and everyone says they're an offensive team, but they're ranked bottom 5 of every statistical category except assists, so they just need to figure out who they are and what they're going to be moving forward.
And Kieran, it's unusual, isn't it? With the amount of success we've seen in recent years with the Eagles, to see them in this kind of situation, there's so much flux as well. It's quite chaotic.
It's very chaotic, but there's been so much change, from coaching change to personnel. They are finding themselves again. As Drew had mentioned, they're working on that identity. The one thing I know about Newcastle, they are fighters. Never count them out.
Drew, if they lose tonight, they're in real danger of getting stranded at the bottom of the table, aren't they?
Yeah, tonight is a must-win. If you look at their December schedule, I'm looking at it like when the win's going to come, so it starts with tonight.
All right, well, speaking of the table, it doesn't make for good viewing for Newcastle fans. Not comfortable reading in the slightest. In 9th spot, 2 points. Only 2 points ahead of bottom club Surrey. The Scorchers have a game in hand as well. Mind you, Cheshire's position is somewhat misleading. They're 6 points clear of Newcastle and therefore in the playoff spots, but they've played 3 games more than the Eagles, so they are in similarly in different form right now. At the top of the table, the Lions are the team setting the pace. Of course, the Flyers continue their impressive start to the season. They've won 3 on the bounce in the league and are into the semi-finals of the Cup. The champs, Leicester, have got over their sluggish start to the season. They sit in 3rd spot now, just 2 points off the top. So Phoenix went out to the Lions in the quarterfinals of the Cup. And that's a double hit, Drew, isn't it? Because you're missing a chance, a very good chance for a roster of this caliber to land some silverware, but also a chance to galvanize this hit-and-miss season.
Yeah, well, you don't have a choice. It's only 3 trophies remaining now, and in this league, you got to move on fast because these competitions keep moving. But Cheshire has to, a top 4 is something that's attainable, and they have to move on to the league play now.
They've added Jack Hudson to the roster, more of him in a bit. And we saw them, Kieran, a month or so back against the Lions, and we discussed that day how their offense really needed to start firing. They only put up 60 points in that game. Have you seen any kind of improvements at all?
I have. I've seen it it's been up and down, but Will Neighbour for me is that player. He's a stretch 4, stretch 5 at times. Being able to play the pick and roll, they've got the ability to attack downhill, but his ability to shoot from outside can change the game in a hurry.
So you feel he could be a big factor tonight, particularly as we're hearing news that Larry Austin Jr., who is such an explosive player, real box office when he turns it on, is unlikely to feature tonight. You had a word with Drew and Kieran just before we came on air, and Drew said it's his wrist. He doesn't think he's going to factor.
Yeah, he said he shouldn't have played last week, so they're going to rest him tonight and see if that thing can get healed up. But that's a big loss for the Cheshire Phoenix.
Huge loss for the Phoenix. More pressure then on Marcus Evans because, as we said, the Cheshire offense a real issue, and it's something that they hope that this guy would affect when they add it into the backcourt. They're struggling, Drew, with assists. They're second last in the BBL. Evans and Larry Austin both averaging just 3.3 per game, and they are leading the team. Why the struggles there?
Well, it's not a coincidence. Marcus Evans nor Larry Austin is a true point guard, right? They're bona fide scorers, and we've seen Evans at Bristol last year. But they just signed Jack Hudson, and he's going to bring some calmness in this team and help distribute the ball.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense why Hudson's been added then. Jamel Anderson made a lot of sense why he was added in the offseason. What a year he has had, and he's stepping up to that hype here as well. Leading scorer, second in boards. He's such a big-name player. Do you get a sense with everything he's contributing that right now he's almost carrying the team on his shoulders?
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. At 32 years old, it seems like he's getting better. His offensive output is the best that we've ever seen. We already know what this guy can do defensively, but he's stepping his game up, not only being a corner ball three-shooter, but he's doing a little bit of everything now.
There could be a real intensity to this side, Kieran. We've seen it firsthand, haven't we? Is that how you hope they'll set up tonight, set their stall out from the get-go, up-tempo?
Yeah, and that's the way they have to do it. They always set the tone defensively as well, and Larry Austin's one of those key pieces. But Jamel Anderson, as we just seen, he's another player who can make a big change to the game defensively.
All right, let's key in on Newcastle. So many new faces, as we said, this season, including Carl Johnson, a former teammate of Kieran's, and, well, another week, another roster addition. The Eagles have added this week Hassan French, a 6'7" American forward who played last season in Slovenia. What do we know about French, Kieran?
I know that he can play defense. You know, he's renowned for his defensive presence, and that's something that the Eagles have been lacking.
Lots of new faces, some old guard as well. Darius Defoe, the skipper, how many seasons, Drew? 19 seasons, there you go, and he is providing that stability and security that they desperately need right now. But in terms of X factors, in terms of game changes, if there's anyone that's going to kickstart this Eagles season, well, it's this guy. Javion Hamlet's had some massive nights already as an Eagle. Has he been that standout player this season, Drew?
Absolutely. I mean, this guy is a paint toucher. He's one of the best in the British Basketball League. When he gets in that 5 to 8 foot range with that left hand, you'll see the soft floaters, the runners, and he's just become a father as well. So when you become a father, it locks you in even more.
Changing the dimension. What do you hope to see from him tonight, Kieran?
Just get back to basics. You know, they missed his presence in the couple of games he was out. You know, got back into the roster, but he changes the game. He can get into the paint, score at the basket, like Drew was mentioning. Such a nice soft touch, just pretty basketball.
Jamal Kennedy in top form in the BBL from downtown. In fact, he ranks 4th from the three-point range. So how big a part of the offensive game plan is that going to be tonight, you think, Drew?
Huge. For me, he's the unsung hero. We don't talk about this guy enough. He'll feature in your top 10 every week here in the British Basketball League, and he's the Eagles' best passer. He kind of does a little bit of everything, Swiss Army knife, and I love Kennedy's game.
He talked when he signed, or Coach Studel, I should say, talked about when he signed Jamal, how much that he wanted to be a vocal leader on the court. How important, Kieran, is it to have characters like that, particularly in the situation that Newcastle are in?
Well, it's crucial. You know, you're having a player with experience, playing in multiple countries as well, being able to calm the floor, but at the same time, hold players accountable. You know, and I think he's got that presence. It's never in an attacking way. That he's got that leader, you know, leads by example, but at the same time, holds people to account.
Let's look at Donovan Johnson, because against Surrey, when we were here last, he looked very good. Almost snagged a double-double, but he got himself in foul trouble. Is discipline a problem for him, Kieran?
Yeah, and you can see here 4.8 fouls per game. You know, he's fouling out, and for me, it's making those big plays. You know, he makes a couple of fouls, then he goes and reaches in. You know, he has to have a little bit more discipline.
On the positive side, what has he brought to this Eagles side?
Well, some toughness, some grit. That's what we saw there at Manchester, but like Kieran said, it does nothing when you're sitting there on the sidelines. Can he be out there on the floor?
Team GB's Kyle Johnson, we saw him on the roster, and I mentioned he was another new signing this season. He's had some injury issues, only had 4 games in the league. So, Drew, it's fair to say we haven't seen the best of him yet in an Eagles jersey.
Well, he's getting close. He's put up 20-plus points in his last 2 games, and this guy's like instant oatmeal. Heats up quick, get his offense going. You'll see an array of step backs, and as Kieran knows, that's his former roommate right there. This guy can play, man.
Well, he might be a new face around here, but as Drew suggests, he goes way back with Kieran. And the two met up to find out a bit more about what brought Kyle to the Northeast, and of course, they couldn't resist a little sporting challenge at the same time.
So KJ, you first came into the scene in GB 2011.
Yep.
80 plus caps you've had for GB now. Do you have any specific memories when you look at your GB career that really stand out for you?
So many, but probably my favorite memories with GB would be playing in the Olympics, being a part of that unbelievable experience, as you know, and all the different Euro baskets as well, playing against different NBA players for the respective countries, and that experience alone unbelievable.
Here we go. I've organised some mini golf. I know I haven't beat you in a while at anything.
You're not winning.
Little play.
You're not winning today.
Let's see what you've got. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead. Don't miss, please.
I know
Don't
how
miss.
pressure is.
Please don't miss.
Missing doesn't happen.
Uh-oh. Hey. We'll take that.
I'm embarrassed. You were always talking about the BBL, asking questions when I came back to the league. You always wanted to be a part of it. Now, what's it like to be finally in the BBL?
Honestly, I'm excited to finally be a part of it. And I don't know, I just feel connected to British basketball. Obviously, playing for the national team for over a decade now. I'm happy to find a place in Newcastle now, and I'm super excited to see how far we can go as a team, and hopefully play in the BBL for the rest of my career.
It's into Johnson for three. Hit! Kyle Johnson for three.
Big changes this summer. I remember getting the phone call from you, told me you were going to be a father. How does it feel, first and foremost?
Unbelievable. Before, it's about you. When you're away and you're by yourself in these other countries, you're just basketball and back to your place. And now it's, once basketball's done, I come home, it's like family. You know, I have my girlfriend here, my son here with me, and it's an amazing feeling because no matter if you have a good day, bad day, you come home, your son's smiling. It's bigger than basketball.
And from a motivational perspective, has it changed now that you...
For sure. It's I want to just be the best role model I can be. I would love to keep playing and have him watch me play one day. And that's definitely my motivation, and I'm enjoying it.
What about the lack of sleep? Are you getting some sleep?
That's tough, but it is what it is.
I don't even want to play anymore, but just do what you have to do. That's in. Just finally, with Newcastle, have been off to quite an inconsistent start. What do you believe you can bring to the table, and what do you think needs to happen to find that consistency?
For me, I just kind of want to bring leadership to the table and some of my experience. I've been on part of teams that I've won in the past, and nothing's easy. You know, it's a work in progress, and you want to get better as the season goes on. And I want that responsibility of trying to be a leader to help the team win. That's something I look forward to.
Honestly, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, beating me at golf wasn't a great experience, but it's always great to catch up, my man. Oh. Get this game got. We're done. Cut.
All right, be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how competitive were you in the mini golf?
Not at all. You know what?
Oh, come on.
I give it. They've won so many games this season. I want them to get a little bit of confidence.
Not what I've heard. I've heard you were 10 out of 10 competitive. How great is it for British basketball to have a Team GB stalwart, so well travelled, a winner as well, back on home soil? What does it mean for British basketball?
I think it's great. Not only that, he's a great role model. You know, he is the model professional. He's a humble guy, works hard, does what the coach asks of him, and he can play basketball at a high level. So it's great to have him here. I've
got to pick up on something he said. You both, of course, played when your kids were babies. How big a challenge is that, the lack of sleep in particular?
Well, it's twofold. They make you forget about the game quickly because they don't care. But the second part, like you mentioned, that's sleep. Man, that's a different beast right there.
So the good man, the yin and yang there. Let's take a look at the team comparisons. Both of these, as we've established, struggling to find any kind of rhythm. In particular, of course, offensively. Defensively, the Phoenix have been amongst the best in the BBL. So flipping the script and talking about Newcastle's defense, what have been the problems there? What do you want to see them correct tonight?
We talk about consistency. That's a key theme. For me, I'm looking at the scouting report. The things they're trying to do, the kind of, the specifics that have been assigned for the game. They're not sticking to those things. There's no accountability at this moment in time. I want them to see, have a direction. This is what they're trying to do. And for me, as a fan, to see that and stick to it.
Drew, very quickly, give me an X-factor player on both sides, somebody that could rack up a lot of points, change the game.
Well, for Newcastle, it's Donovan Johnson, right? The question is, can he stay on the floor? But on the other side, with Larry Austin out, Lloyd Daniels is going to be critical tonight. See if he can get it going from three-point line and see if he can get this Cheshire offense going.
Okay, heavy sledding so far this season for these two, and they're both out of the cup, so the time to kickstart their season is right now. Tip-off coming next.
showtime.
This is BBL basketball.
Coming up next.
There's a lot riding on tonight's game. Both teams yet to find their groove this season. Newcastle looking to find their identity. Cheshire, some consistency. This one's about to get ready to tip off. So let's get on over to Antro and Dan Rowley.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, an awful lot riding on this game for both these teams, trying to get things going in the right direction. And let's take a look at the starting lineups for the two teams, starting with the Newcastle Eagles. And the backcourt, you feel like, is where Newcastle are going to improve this year.
Well, there's a whole lot of offense in that backcourt, Dan. Hamlet, your 20 points a game guy, and Johnson, 20 points per game in the last 2 games. Yeah, there's some scoring prowess there.
Let's take a look at the Cheshire Phoenix, and obviously the late scratch of Larry Austin Jr. means that Will Neighbor jumps into the starting 5, changes their lineup, but again, their backcourt is going to need to fill that void of Austin Jr.
Sometimes it's that, pick up the slack, and Jamel Anderson and Evans combined 28 points per game. They're going to have to do a lot tonight in order to propel their team up for the missing Larry Austin Jr.
Well, they make their way out on court. The other thing is that Austin Jr. kind of changes the pace of the game, the way he gets out into transition, the cheap points that he is able to pick up. For a team that doesn't score a lot, the easy points that he brings to the table, it's going to be difficult for them to define those.
He is a one-man offensive transition machine, and as you say, Dan, you take him away from that, and your team loses a lot of those easy points. He's not a guard that needs to dribble the ball and fade away, shoot a lot of jump shots. He's a guy that likes to get those shots in and around the rim, those high percentage shots, and he doesn't care who's trying to block his shot. He's shooting over 7-footers.
Well, the two teams have made their way out on court without Austin, as you saw there, and we are ready to go. This, they will be hoping in Newcastle, might be the turning point evening for them. There's been a few opportunities, they've not taken it. They could really do with a morale-boosting win in front of their home fans. And we are off and underway, and it is the Knicks who will get the opening possession with Marcus Evans. Here's Anderson. T can't lose him. He's a good shooter, but that one's off the mark.
He is indeed. He likes to flare after setting that screen. Doesn't knock it down this time, but Newcastle Eagles defense have to be wary of that.
Here's Everett. Batted away. Anderson chasing down the loose ball. Nobody anywhere near Evans. They need to recover there. They've got a mismatch down low. Teague with the extra pass. Neighbor, another man you don't want to lose on the three-point line.
That's really good basketball. They put the ball inside to Teague, who had the mismatch but didn't force the shot. Good ball movement, and Will Neighbor will be making those shots all night long.
Miss Johnson, contested shot at the foul line, illegally contested as the foul is called on Lloyd Daniels.
You never want to foul a jump shooter, and again, someone like Carl Johnson, who is on good form. You see the outstretched, clear foul, and great call from the guys in pink.
You don't listen to me, do you? Last week we were talking about Zach Jackson shooting better from the three-point line than the free throw line. Maybe one foul shooting, one a foul. He's the only one, though. You're right, though, as Carl Johnson goes to the line.
Well, your theory is it's the fact of the moment. He's 0 for 1.
Second one is good. Evans looking for some options. Anderson can't shake off Kennedy. Daniels now for three, way off the mark. Defoe claims the ball.
That's great on-ball defense from Jamel Kennedy there. Full denial for Jamal Anderson. It disrupted the Phoenix offense there.
Johnson creates a little mid-range jump shot for himself. Drew Lasker has joined us in commentary. Drew, what do you make of the first couple of minutes? Not much offense going for either team.
Well, that's what I expect. Cheshire's one of the best defensive teams in our league, and Newcastle, I wouldn't say that they are, but they looked a little bit more locked in to me tonight. So this is the effort we got to see for 40 minutes.
Can't lose the shooters, though. I mean, that is Anderson's spot in the corner.
Well, Anderson having his best offensive year he's had since he's been in the BBL for over a decade. So again, he is a guy you have to locate.
Defoe, top of the key, knocks down the first field goal of the game for the Newcastle Eagles.
And speaking of a guy you got to locate, you must locate Darius Defoe from the free throw line. We've seen it many, many times again. That's his spot right there.
Anderson just stepped on the line, and that will go back to Newcastle.
Well, this time, you see Anderson making the shot played before. This time, Jamel Kennedy has to run out to him. He's lucky that Jamal Anderson ran out of court there. But there's more urgency from the Newcastle Eagles.
Yes.
We say these are must-win games, and okay, you're not going to become the best defensive team overnight, but what you can do is you can improve your attitude, you can improve your intent, and the way you approach the end of the floor.
Well, we watched the game last week against Leicester, and there was a lot of things that they were doing defensively that were just counterintuitive to what would evidently be top line of the scout report on every play. Defoe knocks down the mid-range shot.
No, you're right, Dan, and losing ball games as well, it can have it's fight or flight, and it can make you improve, exponentially, because you have to. You're sitting there at the bottom of the league, or close to the bottom of the league, and you have to make improvements.
Well, they have not got to Cheshire on the three-point line at all yet.
That's a prime example of one of the breakdowns that we saw many times last week. And, Marcus Evans, 14 points a game, very dangerous, cannot leave him that open.
It's stolen away by Evans, and he's another one, a bit like Austin, who likes to get into the passing lanes and pick up them cheap points.
Yeah, one of the biggest thieves we have in the BBL, Marcus Evans, that lead the leagues in steals, so no surprise there. You got to be wary of him all times out there on the court.
Hamlet has it knocked away. Cheshire in the open court. That's going to be a foul by Hamlet, and I think Coach Thomas is wondering whether that might be an unsportsmanlike. The referee's having a think, and I think he said he's going after the ball. So it's just a regular foul. You always got to be careful in transition. Let's have another look at it. Oh yeah, he has caught him on the arm from behind, but the referee happy with it.
The positive signs there, though. He's lost the basketball. He's not jogging back. He's sprinting full speed. He's trying to regain the ball. And as you saw there, the team huddled together as soon as that play ended there. Good sign so far from the body language of the Eagles.
Well, they've lost Evans again. Cheshire, all their shots, bar one, have been from the three-point line, but they've all been great looks. Defoe trying to sell a foul. Referee not buying.
Well, he's really good at selling them. He's sold them throughout the last decade or so, but not on that occasion. See him there trying to attack the baseline, and yeah, a lot of high energy flapping of the arms there.
That's my guy, but that's a great none call there. Will never chest up there, so.
I feel like you've had a few go against you over the years, Anne.
No, you can still hear the emotion and jealousy in my voice.
Neighbour knocks down another three. Cheshire are 4 of 7 from behind the arc and have forced Mark Stoodle into an early timeout here.
And that's why he can be such a tough cover. He's 6'10", he's long, and he gets that shot off in such a quick rate. You have to make him do something else.
Well, Drew managed to catch up with Mark Stoodle before the game. Let's hear his thoughts.
Coach, Hassan French steps in. What does he add that you feel like this team's been missing from the roster?
Some interior presence, some defensive ability in terms of guarding the paint, hopefully some rebounding presence, and some defensive anchoring of different units.
And overall, what aspect of the game is most critical if you guys are going to get back to winning ways?
We got to guard. We got to guard. We got to do what we're doing in practice. We got to do it for longer periods in the game. Take some of that consistency on the defensive end in practice. Find joy in playing defense the way that we do in practice. Doing it for longer periods in the game. Being really present each possession, finishing plays, and allowing our defense to start our offense.
Been a mixed season so far. What are your thoughts on the team a quarter of the way through the season?
I mean, like you say, it's been mixed results. We've changed personnel early on in the season, obviously getting to grips with our lineup as it is. We've been in a lot of games. We've been in a lot of close games. We've run London close a couple of times, held them to their lowest margins. We've been close with Bristol. We've been close with Leicester. All these teams are right at the top of the table, and we're right there. There's just a few little things that we have to improve on, and we'll start winning a lot of games.
And what are the key areas you guys have been prioritizing at this given time?
We've just got to get better offensively. Defensively, we're very tough. We force a lot of turnovers. We make teams have a lot of mistakes. But offensively, we're just not scoring enough points, and that's got to be a focus of ours on and off the court.
Thanks for your time, Ben.
Cheers, Joe.
Well, Ben timed that perfectly, didn't he? He said defensively we've been very good, just as they got a steal that led to a Jamel Anderson run out. And interesting, Coach Stoodle talking about defense. His team have given up 16 points in 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, it sounds like after that interview, Ben Thomas will be the happiest out of the two because they're getting their offense, who one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They got 16 points here in 5 minutes. But then on the flip side, defensively, 4 threes to a team that don't really shoot it really well. Newcastle Eagles, we talked about the lack of discipline from them. They got to step it up.
Well, they certainly do, because while 16 is too high to give up in 5 minutes, 5 is way too low as well. The combination couldn't get much worse for the Eagles. The fans trying to do their best to spot the defenses. Teague goes in and drops in an easy 2.
Going from bad to worse. Eagles have to figure out a way here to turn the tides because you've got that mentality already. You're used to losing games, and you don't want to get yourself in a large deficit because it's really difficult to get out of that when you're not in that positive mentality.
Everett with the turnaround leaves that short. And of course the other thing about it is you just get into that, once the game is gone, you can't find a way back in. Another easy one at the basket. Good finish in the end from Teague. The game against Plymouth here a couple of weeks ago where Newcastle kind of melted away in the fourth quarter. Leicester game, they gave up 19 points in a row in 6 minutes either side of halftime, and melted away again. They're not a team that comes from behind, really.
And you can see it as well, the trust in each other is not really there. You see hero ball. What I mean by that is individuals are trying to carve their way back into the game for their team. They've got to trust each other, move the basketball, get good, exchange good looks for great looks.
Jones, long miss, comes out to Defoe. Defoe looking for some options. Batted away by Anderson. Cheshire looking to run again. Jack, like a jumping jack at halfway line, did well not to turn the ball over. Evans, all the way to the rim, just can't finish.
And that's just too easy without anybody stunting from the weak side or anybody coming over. But then also Cone has to do a better job on the ball. So a mix-up of hiccups there in that possession.
Everett, a little slap down at the ball. He's able to knock it down and finally get the scoreboard ticking. He'll go to the line for a bonus.
Much needed 2 points there for the Eagles, but it's that same mentality. It's one guy trying to score the basketball. It's an isolation play. They've got to figure out a way to play collectively on the offensive end. And that's, don't even get me started on the other end of the floor. True, as you said, 2 breakdowns defensively there. Poor on-ball defense and no interior defense.
Well, the issue is I've talked about it at the top of the show, right? They don't really have a true identity. If you see there, they're not stopping the Phoenix from scoring, and nor are they scoring either. So most teams in this league, they're going to outscore you. Think about the Manchester Giants, or if you think about, the London Lions, they're going to try to suffocate you defensively. You got to have a calling card.
Well, their calling card at the minute is not scoring and giving up points easily.
That's a really difficult strategy if you're looking to win basketball games, by the way. I do not recommend anyone implement that strategy in their team.
Well, if you are going to get down double figures, first quarter is the best time to do it because it gives you the most time to come back.
Oh, plenty of basketball left. It's just having the mental capacity. That's great. Great effort there from Cohen. But you're right, Danny. Plenty of basketball game left. It's just having that, I think, mental resilience there.
Jack commits the foul as Mockford goes to the hole.
But the issue is that's a great attack by Ben, who normally would settle from that area, getting to the basket and getting to the free throw line. But normally when you have a main player out like Larry Austin, you think the game is going to be easier. But I learned from Fab, it's always a little bit more difficult. And from Newcastle's perspective, you want to take that team's confidence away early. Now the Phoenix know that they can play with Newcastle, but they know that they can win without one of their best players, which will make it tough over this match tonight for Eagles to pull it out.
All right, so addition by subtraction, isn't it? We've all been there before. We've heard the news when one of your main guys isn't playing, you automatically as a pro think, okay, I'm going to be the guy to step up. And at the moment, the Phoenix look more than comfortable about their talisman.
Anderson cutting back door. He just said to lob that over the top rather than throwing the bounce pass. But it still will stay with Cheshire on the side. Evans draws the foul. First on Eddie Cone.
Marcus Evans is so good. They're just attacking the rim. He's aggressive, much like his partner in crime, Larry Austin Jr., who's not playing today.
And that came off Evans' last, so that's another good effort played from Cone to win possession back for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. Cone getting it done, getting his hands in the cookie jar there. Ball flies off of Evans' hand. And that's 2 plays we've seen Cone, not normally known for his defense, but trying to set the tone tonight and set the example.
Well, one man who is known for his steals, Evans knocks it loose. And that's going to be a blocking foul, and that will count. An and 1 opportunity for Maceo Jack.
Wow, good aggressive nature there from Jack to attack the rim. And here's the steal that before Marcus Evans not giving up on the play, and then, that was a close call. I'd love to see that one again. I thought he got positioning
I agree. I think Defoe was there, and he's known for taking charges as well. So tough call there. But I mean, for Cheshire Phoenix, they got 6 steals in the first quarter. Teams struggle to get that over the course of a game. So them being the #1 team in that category, they're showing it's no fluke.
Well, Jack Hudson is in for the first time for the Cheshire Phoenix, having just signed for them. Of course, he played a lot of his career with David Elf. I expect to see some pick and roll using those two for sure. More than comfortable working together. Here we go. Wolf has the mismatch, but they go away from him for the minute. Kick to Anderson in the corner for 3, and he knocks it down. A 5th triple of the first quarter for Cheshire.
Wow, it's good basketball, isn't it? And shot clock winding down, and Jamal Anderson made that look effortless.
Mockford draws the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
And again, another strong drive there by Ben Mockford, who he's just trying to send the message to the team. We know Ben. He prefers to be out there on the perimeter or taking a mid-range shot. But that's 2 possessions in a row. He's gotten inside in the paint, trying to get something easy and just trying to rally the troops, basically non-verbally saying, hey, fellas, let's go.
Surprising statistic for Ben Mockford as well at the free throw line. He's a 57% free throw shooter. Someone who's known for his trade is shooting the ball. He's so deadly from the three-point line. He's a guy you would just assume you'd have a, high 90s, high 80s, 90% free throw shooter.
Well, he moves his team into double figures as Carl Johnson returns to the game. Anderson up top 2-0. Late in the shot clock now for Cheshire. Jack's going to take a contested 3 and knock it down. That's a problem when you give them the open ones and they go in, suddenly the contested ones feel easier.
Yeah, and the floodgates are open now, and once you get a player in rhythm, just having a hand there does nothing anymore. So Cheshire Phoenix got it going on from outside and on the defensive end as well.
From your extensive 4 3-pointers made across your career, that's how you know, isn't it, Anne?
It's the quality over quantity, Dan.
You got to tell Dan to stop bringing it up, man. Let's focus on the positives.
4 of 12, I think it was. 33%, that's not a bad career average.
I knew my lane. I knew where my strengths are.
Shot clock switched off here. Cheshire can end a very good first quarter by getting into the 30s. Hudson under pressure from the clock, gets his shot blocked, tries again. Oh, and he scores on the buzzer! Jack Hudson at the second attempt gets his first score for Cheshire, and what an opening quarter it has been for the Knicks. They're a man down, but they're 20 points up here in Newcastle. Plenty for Coach Studel and his team to work out. It's not been a great opening quarter for the black and white. Can they make a recovery in the second quarter? We'll find out when we return after this break. Welcome back to Newcastle, where the Eagles trail by 20. Hassan French making his debut for the Eagles, twice an all-defensive player at college. Boy, they could do with some defense right now, the Newcastle Eagles.
Well, they're throwing him in the deep end, and they hope he can swim because they need his help.
Here he is at the offensive end, looking to use his considerable size. Overcooks that. There's a foul on the rebound. I think it's on Johnson. Yeah, number 1 shown to the table. Didn't quite see what he did, but the referee says a little push in the back.
Well, what pressure does French have on his shoulders there? As you can tell from that shot there, it's easier to come make your debut when you're up 20. But when you're down 20, every possession matters, as he overshot that jump hook there.
Here's Anderson. Hope has the size mismatch against Mockford. He's lost his gum shield, and he's missed the shot.
So we crediting that possession to the Newcastle Eagles defense or the gum shield?
Combination.
Whatever the case, I know they'll take it.
Hamlet with a little stunner to get to the basket.
That's beautiful, and he hasn't been in those danger areas too much so far this evening. They need to get him involved and get him in those areas.
Well, Daniels almost turned it over. Got a little ricochet off the, I think, the foot of an Eagles player on the way out.
Good hustle there. Oh, very good from Daniels, sliding out of bounds and sort of targets the opposing foot there.
Michael Cherobia into the game for the first time. They were doing so well in the first quarter. Then didn't feel the need to change anything up as Evans misses the 3. Cherobia going after the rebound. Good hands from Anderson. He's been so good for so long at that.
He really has, and it's his timing. And that's why his team are leading the league in steals. It's him, it's Teague, it's Larry Austin, it's Evans, all of them are really good at anticipating active hands in the passing lane. Nightmare for any opposing offense.
Donovan Johnson. Nice to the basket.
Very nice finish. The Newcastle Eagles going to claw their way in the game. Donovan Johnson's going to have to be a culprit of that, like we mentioned at the top, making sure he's disciplined, staying on the floor, because we know what he can offer on the offensive end.
Anderson looking to use his size down low, and Johnson came for the help, but the foul was called first on Kyle Johnson. It's going to be his second or third foul. Second.
Again, another unfortunate call there on Kyle Johnson. And that's a guy who's one of the few guys who is feeling high on confidence, high on form. You'd want him to remain as much as possible on the floor if you're in the Newcastle Eagles camp. Denzel Vieira will enter the court here, a guy with BBL experience, a guy high energy. You want him to bring that energy here on both ends of the floor.
Well, it's pretty clear the Phoenix game plan tonight, that with this small guard lineup, three guard lineup that the Newcastle Eagles putting out there, they're going to the post plan, inside and out, and going to the free throw line, putting a lot of pressure on their defense.
Well, they're going to retake that free throw. French went in first, then Cherobia. They both tried to get back out. I must admit, in real time, I thought they both got out before the shot, but the referee is going to let Anderson get a do-over.
Little things like this can add up. You know, these points here and there that Newcastle Eagles can't afford to give up.
And Anderson makes them pay. Hamlet floats one up, and that is his game right there.
He's so good at that. You just think to yourself, why do they not just draw more things up for him in that play action there where he's coming off the screen or coming down the hill? Excellent finish.
Ojerovic trying to thread the needle. Stolen away. Good work from Teague. He had to leap a long way down there to reach that one.
He did, and good work on defense from the Eagles is undone quickly by Teague there with a steal of his own.
Anderson, extra pass to Daniels. Oh, way too much legs on that one. Johnson catch and shoot. Doesn't give his team much chance of an offensive rebound.
Yeah, a little bit of an early shot there in the offense.
Daniels gets in. Ocherobia with the offensive rebound. Went a long way around and left his hook short.
Well, good early signs for the Eagles. You can see how French has made it all defensive team there. He's got good activity there. Uses that wide body of his, and he's battling with Ocherobia the whole play.
Ubiaro trying to barrel his way to the basket. Ocherobia tipped out of bounds by Johnson. It'll be a Cheshire ball from the side as Jack returns to the game for the Phoenix.
And I see some positive signs there from French, in particular with the ball screen coverage, doing a great job of hedging and recovering. But we'll see how much legs he has in the tank, as he's just joined this team 2 days ago.
Well, I don't think it was even that. I think it was yesterday. He's only had one walkthrough. He's not had a proper training session. Got to shoot here. Evans gets it away. Johnson is fouled by Teague.
French has done an excellent job there defensively on that screen. He was looking to hedge, and then he realized his man had went, so he had to contest that. And good reactions there from the Eagles. You see an improvement here on the defensive end, which you see slowly but surely. It's growing in confidence for the offense as well. So it's very pivotal point here for the game.
Midway through the second quarter, it's the Phoenix who lead by 16. Well, earlier, Drew caught up with Javion Hamlet to talk to him about his new fatherhood.
Javion, congratulations on becoming a new father, my man. How does that change your perspective?
Man, it's a blessing, just to see my own child. It's very a blessing. It's new to me, yeah, man. It's just a blessing. It's a wonderful thing to be a father.
And you're top 10 in scoring and assists. You happy with the way you're playing personally at the moment?
Nah, because we're not winning. It's a lot that I can do. It's a lot more that I can do, to put us over that edge of winning. Obviously, we're making changes, got new teammates coming in, and, just trying to get over that hump of winning. Get back to the winning program that it has been.
And speaking of the changes, how important is it for you to become a leader out there on the court?
Most definitely it's important, because I'm the point guard, so it's very important for me to be talking and for me to be leading my guys. That's the biggest role on the floor. I'm I'm a shadow of Mark when I'm on the floor.
Thanks for your time. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
I think you both had children in season, didn't you? So how do you adjust on the fly, like, particularly with the first one? I remember having my first child, and for 2 weeks I didn't know if it was night or day, let alone going out and playing a basketball game. How do you adjust in season like that?
Man, I think we can ask Gino Crandell from last year of how he struggled at the beginning. It's tough, man. It is a blessing, but finding that balance, it takes a couple of weeks to get that sleeping pattern, because no one can pay you for those sleepless nights.
No, they cannot, but shout out to all the great wives in attendance, because they're the true MVPs.
Foul called on Ubiaro here. Defense with his arms rather than his feet. Here's Jack. Ocherobia trying to use his bulk against French's, and he wins that battle.
Two big boys down low, monster trucks banging against each other. That's a really interesting matchup there.
Johnson strings it from the top of the key.
Yeah, nice shot there by Johnson. As you see him clapping his hands. That's what he do. He brings the intensity. Let's see if he can get these troops going here.
Well, he looks like a man possessed today. He looks like he's on a mission, and that mission is to win this basketball game at all costs. And here he is, almost creating a turnover.
And it is turned over. Hamlet will run it back for an easy lay-in. And defense to offense for Newcastle. Not said that enough.
And that's Jonathan Johnson leading the way there. And as you say, Dan, the defense there, creating the easy offense for Javian Hamlet. He'll get that easy layup.
And again, Hamlet running away with it. Ocherobia will chase him down, but Hamlet wins that. And 2 quick scores in transition for Newcastle.
And that's exactly what you need when you're struggling offensively to put the ball in the cup. You got to use that defense to fuel that offense. 2 great possessions there by the Newcastle Eagles.
Ocherobia trying to use his strength. Eagles wanting to travel. It doesn't matter because they got the ball back.
Fantastic one-on-one defense there from French. You see Denzel Biaro digging down there, making things a little bit more problematic for Ocherobia. Good collective defense.
You can see what that defense has done for the crowd. You can hear what it's done for the crowd. Much louder in here than it was a few minutes ago.
Hope and positivity in there.
They were ready to blow the roof off.
Evans splits the double team all the way to the basket. Almost got the circus shot to go. He'll go to the line for 2.
Big play there from Marcus Evans. He's a guy that can create for himself, and you see him split the screen and then attack. It's a really vulnerable point in the game for Phoenix right now, who had a really good start to this game. They're sharing the basketball. They look confident in their units on court. But what you don't want to do is end up having momentum snatched from you from the home team, because that could be a slippery slope.
31 points in the first quarter. 4 in almost 7 minutes here in the second.
And Newcastle getting it done defensively. But that last possession there, I love the IQ of Evans, realizing that French is great at stepping out high and hedging, and he goes there and sets him up and splits the double team and gets in the paint where he goes the line for 2.
And he misses both. Hamlet using his speed, but doesn't get the roll off the rim. T shaking and baking to the hole for 2.
It's a nice move from the big man. He's a guy as well, you have to honor the outside shot, so you have to get that little bit closer up on him on defense, and what that does is it'll shake and bake here. And T, you see him get slapped on the forearm, and he's a bit disappointed. I think he didn't finish the 3-point play.
And we talk about the lack of help side defense from the Newcastle Eagles, but when you're in there, that top of the key, that middle third of the floor, the on-ball defender has to do a much better job there. And Kennedy realizing that he's right-handed. No, he's actually left-handed. That's just a great in-and-out move there by him to get to the basket. But you got to bone up, as we say.
He broke the line there. He knew that shot was coming off the ring, and the shooter cannot leave the free throw line until the ball has hit the ring. Everybody else can go on the release, but the shooter has to wait for it to hit the rim. And he didn't. So still just 5 points for Cheshire in this quarter. Newcastle, though, only 12, which is why the Knicks still have a double-figure lead.
12 is one more than they had in the whole first quarter. Progress down.
Yeah, you got to take the positives.
Well, on that note, there's another turnover for the Eagles. Turnover number 9 now.
His neighbor short on the 3. Cheshire had been very good at turning those turnovers into points. They've got 12, but they weren't able to do it on that occasion. Here's the foe, falling off balance. looking for something to happen. Whatever it is not what he was expecting. Teague with a little step away, and he was off down court. He knew that was good.
I don't understand what's happened there. They're playing defense, and then you leave the guy with the ball. That's basketball 101. You cannot leave the guy with the basketball. He's the most dangerous guy on court.
Well, he's the only one who can score, isn't he, the guy with the ball? They are 7 of 14 from behind the arc and 7 of 14 inside Cheshire for a perfect 50% shooting. Here's Defoe, who's knocked a few of these down, but that one doesn't go. Evans spinning, throws it away. Johnson with the steal. Kennedy saw Defoe, but so too did Anderson, and he deflected it away.
I thought Defoe started his run a little too late there. He should have edged in a little bit quicker there, because Jamel Kennedy was coming down like a steam train, and had Defoe already been in that area, it's a layup.
Well, miscommunication on the play there. Cone now for three, strings it.
As you say, that started off a little bit discombobulated the offense, but they finally got Dave Cohen open, and he knocked it down the three.
Well, Cheshire had made 7 before Newcastle made their first there from behind the arc.
Wow. It's a ratio you don't want to be playing against.
Evans all the way to the rim and goaltend.
Again, goes back to what we were saying, that help side defense is way too late. And as good as the effort was from Jamel Kennedy, ball clearly touches the backboard first, and that is a goaltend.
Well, Cheshire, who had their struggles scoring in this quarter, will still leave it with a double-figure lead. It could be 15 if they can hang on and get one more stop here. Coming back to Defoe, great play, and Darius Defoe jams it down. It's going to be a three-quarter court heave from Neighbor. Oh, back iron for Will Neighbor. But an excellent first quarter for the Cheshire Phoenix has ensured that they will head to the locker room despite only scoring 10 in the second quarter with a 13-point lead here at the Virtue Motors Arena.
Well, they had such a great start, didn't they, Dan? Everything was clicking, and as you said, Ben Thomas was so happy with that unit, he couldn't even bring a player like Ocherobi on because he felt confident in that unit. But boy, was that second quarter very different. I thought the Newcastle Eagles responded well. It really came from their energy on defense, and they were able to put more points on the board.
Well, they did get things going, but I'm sure Ben Thomas would have snapped your hand off for a 13-point lead at halftime with Larry Austin not available. Here are the numbers. The big difference: 1 of 4 from three-point range, 7 of 15 from three-point range. There is 18 points difference right there, and both teams have been forcing turnovers here in the first half.
Yeah, and as you said, Dan, you give the guys easy shots, the confidence grows, they start making shots with hands in their faces. So, Cheshire Phoenix are high on confidence right now from the perimeter, but both teams haven't been looking after the basketball. 9 turnovers for the Eagles.
Well, a perfect half for Jamel Anderson. Not missed a shot. He leads all scorers with 10 points, and he's withdrew.
Thanks, Dan. You heard it there, Jamel. 10 points, perfect from the field. I know you take great care of your body. What'd you have for breakfast, man?
Porridge and some toast.
Hey, well, Ben talked earlier about wanting to get your offense going. 29 points in the first quarter. How were you able to get that going?
Yeah, just energy, to be honest with you. We've had some really unfortunate losses recently. We brought it together as a team this week, and we just wanted to come into this game with energy, and I think that's what we're showing so far.
Well, you head to the half with a 13-point lead. What's critical coming about it in the second half to get this win?
First 5 minutes is critical, man. We've got to come out fighting. They're not going to just roll over. So, we're going to talk at halftime now, and we're going to come out with that same energy.
Well, a great start. Good luck in the second half, Jamel.
Yeah, it certainly was a great start for the Cheshire Phoenix. 31 points in that first quarter. Newcastle's defense turned up in the second, but it's a long road ahead. 41-28 the halftime score. Well, the Phoenix came out absolutely guns blazing this evening. An extraordinary first quarter for their offense, 31 points. Newcastle hit back and the defense started to get going and keep them in the game, but only just, because at the half here at the Virtue Motors Arena, it's 41-28, a 13-point lead for the Phoenix. Looking at the numbers, the thing that really stands out straight off the bat, Kieran Achara, is the three-point range. Newcastle, firstly, not attempting many, not landing many. Cheshire, on the other hand, hitting a lot, almost 50%.
Yeah, Cheshire shot the ball extremely well in that first half from three, but Newcastle gave them a lot of easy looks to start off, you know, and they started to make some tough shots down the stretch, but those easy looks was really a big confidence booster for the Cheshire Phoenix.
It's a tough half for Newcastle, but Coach Diddle will take positives, I guess, in the fact that they slowed the Phoenix down in the second quarter.
Yeah, they did a lot better job in that second quarter. They did well protecting the paint, but you know, that 31 points in that first quarter, you know, the coach will be going crazy.
He'll look at the improvements defensively, but there's a lot of work to do offensively. What was just not gelling for Newcastle in that first half?
Well, I think from a Hamlet perspective, he likes to get downhill. You know, it's very hard to get downhill when you're taking the ball at the basket at the other end, and the defense can always get back. So I think Newcastle, you know, Stuttle said it at the beginning of the game, they really need to focus on their defense to try and get their offense flowing and be able to attack on that break.
No Larry Austin Jr., of course, for the Phoenix tonight. So plan B in motion and looked pretty solid first quarter.
Moving the ball really, really well. You know, Evans really stepped up. Well, Neighbours stepped up as well. Yeah, the ball was moving great, and I think it really, really helped. It allowed Cheshire Phoenix to get a lot of good looks. Like right here, you know, moving the ball, nice open look for Will Neighbour knocking down that three-point shot. And that's what they want. They want to be able to move that ball and get good looks.
Newcastle making it too easy for them.
Very much so. Like that's just bad offense there. You know, Will Neighbour gets in the passing lane and they're off to the races.
So it's interesting to see the plan B without Larry Austin. Can they sustain this for 4 quarters?
Yes. You know, I think if they're going to be moving the ball, they're getting good looks, and that's what I'm saying. This is a great finish. You know, nice little slip to the basket, easy finish at the basket, you know, high percentage shot. So it is definitely sustainable.
What will Coach Strudel be saying to his players at halftime?
Getting back to the scouting report, you cannot leave Will Neighbour open for three. You cannot be helping off in defence. They have to have some cohesion as a team. Right now, they've been really trying to emphasise protecting the paint, but they've done a good job of that. But they have to make that second movement and get out to those shooters. 13
points, a big ask for Newcastle. Second half coming underway shortly. Before we get into it, there was no BBL league action last week. Of course, it was all about the cup, which means our plays of the week has a cup angle on it. Take a look at this.
Miani now going baseline, but throws it away. Now the Phoenix will try to push this one. Jamal Anderson, alley. Oh, baby! My goodness gracious! Well, Maceo Jack just called up British Airways and said, hey, I'm your new flight attendant. We're going on vacation, baby!
Lovin steps into another three and knocks down 4 of 4 for Mark Lovin.
Mark Lovin is unconscious from beyond the perimeter.
Picks up the dribble there. He's in a little bit of trouble, but gets it to Tappy, gets it back. Oh, nice pass from Jimenez to... Wow!
Big play from Tappy there. Ball popped off the rim and he just hammered it down.
The magician threw that up and just said, abracadabra. 3 points, please.
No good on the second as well. And here comes King leaking out in transition. It's blocked by Robertson. Wow.
Those are our producers' top 5 plays from the Cup quarter-final. As we've already established a few times this season, Kieran Chara is his own man, so you don't have to bestow your trademark on the number 1 play, but you can if you want to.
Yeah, there was definitely some nasty plays in there, Drew would say, but no, that Robertson block, it was disgusting.
Oh, it's good to have you back, big man. Good to have that back as well. Let's take a look at the Cup semi-final draw and confirmation of those quarter-final results. The Lions beating Cheshire comfortably in the end, although that game was a lot closer than the final scoreline suggested for a while. It certainly was comfortable for Bristol over Manchester, disappointing for Vince McCauley. The Giants looked so promising at the start of the season for silverware. This one is one down. Leicester, as we mentioned at the top of the show, really starting to find their groove now. The champs baring their teeth. And it was a depleted Sheffield team, but nevertheless, Kieran Chara is going to take that win every time, which means Bristol, London, Leicester, Caledonia in the semis. And Caledonia have had the mark of Leicester this season, so that's a winnable game for them.
It's definitely a winnable game, but Leicester at home, Rod Paternoster is the coach. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's one shot, of course, in the semis. London, Bristol, the other, and that's a hell of a game, given how well they're the top 2 in the league. What has been the key to Bristol's success so far this season? Because they're absolutely rolling.
They're relentless. They have a lot of players willing, to attack the basket, play defense, play some pretty basketball. I just love that they're just gelling as a team. They know exactly what they're out to do. Everyone does their role. They look like they've been playing for years.
You're going to put your neck on the line and call the final?
Gladiators.
Yeah, okay, against? I knew you were going to go there.
I don't know who. I'm just going to say the Gladiators.
I'm on the fence.
Sit on the fence.
I'm going to ask you that next week as well. All right. It is all to play for here in Newcastle because the scoreline might show a 13-point advantage for Cheshire. But this Newcastle defense held the Phoenix to just 10 points in the second quarter. They can definitely get back into this, and the second half is coming next. you sense it's an important half of basketball as far as the Eagles season is concerned. If they could turn this game around and get a win, their season's back on track. If they lose and stay stranded in the bottom two, it could be a long, cold winter. Let's get back to App and Down.
Certainly could now. In fact, I sense it's an important 3 or 4 minutes here for the Newcastle Eagles to try and keep some of that momentum that they had towards the end of the first half going into the second half.
Absolutely huge. And I got to say as well, it's that mental fragility that they've got as well, because they haven't had those run of games where they've collectively won games together. So you're right, Dan. The first half of this third quarter is humongous for the Newcastle Eagles.
Here is Lloyd Daniels over to Anderson, and Kennedy obviously got told, don't let him shoot, he's not missed a shot, and was just a little over-aggressive on it.
Well, he had to jump out there. I mean, you know, Jamal Anderson is not a player that you'd want to leave a wide open three there. Good hands there, and Eagles bringing an early turnover.
Here's Kennedy. Johnson round the screen, gets the shot away, over Neighbor, but falls short.
Well, Carl Johnson's a guy they want to get involved in this offense early. He's absent in the first half a lot through foul trouble. He's at 1 point so far this evening.
Daniels just stepped out of bounds, and Drew Lasker, we're still looking for our first score here of the third quarter.
Yeah, and going back to you guys' point, these first 3 or 4 minutes are critical for Newcastle. And there's a lot of areas that we can point out. For me, they got to get clean up on the offensive end. In particular, three-point line, only 4 attempts for a team that's 5th in the league in percentage. So they got to get some more rep ups, create some open looks from outside.
And even just simple shots like that, Everett square up 15 feet, that's his game. They need to just keep that on the scoreboard ticking, because really, the way Newcastle have played this year, their only way to win seemingly is a scoring race.
I absolutely agree.
It's getting those individuals in their advantageous positions. That time we just saw Justin Everett in his comfortable position. And here we've got a little bit of a lifeline here for the Eagles. You know, multiple trips now for Cheshire coming up empty in the offensive end. This is an opportunity here for the Eagles now to not only cut that deficit, but to snatch the momentum.
Well, a chance to get it into single figures here. Everett with the tough one.
Didn't look comfortable as well. Like the play before, you saw him face up, he took his time, he looked comfortable. This time there was sort of a half double team, but that's where he has to be that little bit more mature there and look to swing the basketball and trust his teammates to make a play.
And credit to the Phoenix, that was just a great defensive possession there.
Shot clock low, gotta go up. Neighbor gets it away. Neighbor hits the 3 on the shot clock buzzer.
Wow. What a shot by Will Neighbor there. I don't know what else you could do more defensively. You ran him off the line, but we always say that's just better offense.
I thought Jamal Kennedy was great there. He did great not to foul as well, but Will Neighbor was just better.
Everett spins into a 16-foot jump shot that draws iron. Evans, where is the defense? Daniels all on his own.
Inexcusable, you know, on-ball defense wasn't great by Everett as well. And then zero, you know, interior defense. And this is where you start to see the wheels falling off. You've got to be very careful here. A couple breakdowns defensively by the Eagles. Then there's another, you know, error on offense with the turnover, the illegal screen. It's not a difficult call. You know, it's not a difficult call. You've got to be very careful when you're moving into that screen.
Daniels wide open for 3, and he hits 5 quick points. And we said the first 3 or 4 minutes super important for the Newcastle Eagles. The first 2 were great. The last one is not. Cheshire 8 points in quick succession, and they're out to a 19-point lead.
Eagles had their opportunities. You know, there was turnovers, there were steals, and Everett makes a really good move. And then they just relied too much on the jump shot, and there was no conversions.
Well, Lloyd Daniels with 5 quick points. Drew caught up with him before the game.
Lloyd, what do you make of the season so far?
I think the season's going good. I mean, with what happened last year with the team, they lost some players, but we're adding a lot of new guys. We're a pretty young team. But I think if you watch all of our games, we compete really hard. Obviously, we have one of the best defenses in the league. So I think we're all just learning how to play with each other. And then once it starts to really click, I think we'll be a tough team to beat.
Speaking of defense, what's urgent for you guys if you're going to steal one on the road here tonight?
Oh, man, I mean, tonight's going to be a big game here at Newcastle. Great fans, great environment. But like you said, our defense, we're going to have to really lock in on our defense and stick to our game plan. And I think if we do that, we'll have a good chance of coming out with a victory.
And I know there's a long way to go, but what are the realistic goals for you guys?
Realistic goals, we want to get into the playoffs, obviously. We're trying to get into that top 4. And really, we think if we get to that top 4, well, even if we get to the playoffs, I mean, we think we can make a run. We just got to get to that playoff, and anything can happen in playoff basketball. So, exciting stuff.
Appreciate the time, Lloyd.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, he talked about being locked in defensively. They've had 7 steals. They've been aggressive. They've made it hard for the Newcastle Eagles.
Well, Cheshire Phoenix has been great on both sides of the ball here tonight. As you see, Evans there knocking it loose from Defoe, but during that timeout there, Coach Mark Studel went at his team, and so much so that he got a round of applause from the fans from behind. So we'll see if that speech has sparked this Newcastle Eagles side.
There we go from Everett, top of the key.
It's a tough shot there by Everett, but I don't like the offense going to there and relying on that jump shot. I think they've got to get things going to the rim. If they don't get things going to the rim, maybe they could have looked to utilize that three-point shot. As you say, Drew, they just haven't had very many good looks so far this evening.
Well, 16-footer with a hard hook.
Oh, Anderson, backdoor with the jam.
Perfectly timed cut with a perfectly timed pass from Teague and slices the defense. Nice dunk finish.
Well, that goes to your point, and think about how easy it is for Cheshire to get looks in compared to this side. Here we got 16-footers with a heavy closeout, and it's just a better execution from the team in yellow.
Well, Defoe gets an easy one. Just keeping an eye on Evans, who was hobbling there. You can see Neighbor going for the steal.
The last thing, Cheshire Phoenix one is another injured player, one of their key players.
That's going to be an offensive foul on Anderson driving to the basket. It's Johnson taking the charge.
Carl Johnson's done excellent there. One, because his position is there, and it's a charge. But secondly, that would have been his 3rd foul had he got that wrong. Comes across there, stays still. Good play.
Yeah, that's a textbook charge there from Kyle Johnson. And those are what we call winning plays. Those are the type of sacrifice you have to make with the body if you want to be successful in this league, because wins are tough to come by, and you got to have guys that's willing to do the little things.
All right. Everett has it stolen away by Evans. He's able to keep it going forward to Daniels. Teague now. It's going to be a foul on Cohen, I think, for a block. And it will be 2 free throws.
Wow. Cohen just bounced off Teague's body there, didn't he? Teague aggressor there, looking to go to the rim. And goodness, it could have went another way. We've seen it.
It could have gone another way if he was in a legal defensive position, yeah.
Look, but the swing over of the ball there, the elbow close to the face, I've seen offensive fouls called for less.
By professional referees.
The ones in pink there. Yes.
I think I'm leaning with you on that one, man. That looked offensive to me.
He's not in a defensive position to take the charge.
Hey, look, we need anything we can get.
Yeah,
right
okay,
now.
I'll give you that, yeah. You just need to sit 1 row back, and then you can do that.
Well, I've never sat a row in this arena. I've been booed, I think, in this arena many times. So
that was just tonight coming in as well.
Any reaction's better than no reaction.
Yeah, true. Well, the Eagles need some sort of reaction here. Almost 5 minutes gone. They've got just 3 scores in this quarter. Here's a 4th with Johnson getting to the rim off a nice pass from Defoe.
That's just good movement there around the basketball. Carl Johnson slicing right down the middle of that defense, and good pass from Defoe.
Using his strength and his length. Oh, Donovan Johnson flying through the air, lands awkwardly. And I don't know if he's hurt himself or whether he's just frustrated that the foul wasn't called.
Wow, those plays are dangerous. He's well above the rim there. And it's good initial defense there from Jamel Kennan. You see him sky up there, and
he'll be feeling that one tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't think it's a foul, though.
No,
he just comes flying through the air and bumps into the guy.
Yeah, I mean, you see Teague trying to step away from the contact, and just opting to do as well, just to drop the ball in the danger zone. I don't get that play. I'd rather take the ball out of bounds with me. At least the team can set up again and play defense.
Well, Teague was able to score as a result. And Newcastle get us back underway. Good hands by Anderson, but unfortunately the deflection goes right into Kyle Johnson, who lays it in.
Well, sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and the Eagles need a lot of luck at the moment, and Kyle Johnson is able to convert there.
Anderson spinning, top finish.
It's so tough. Anderson, he's spanning away where the defender couldn't even see where the ball was, and a tricky finish.
Defoe traveled with it. Darius, I always love Darius's face after a call goes against him. Like, how could you ever think I would do such a thing?
He sort of stepped into it before he caught it, didn't he?
Yeah, it looked like a travel.
Evans with a quick change of pace. Back out to Neighbor. Defoe reaching round. He's going to get called for the foul. Just needs to watch himself. Referee has a look. His reaction is fairly... It's unlucky. He's come over the top. He's got the ball, but it is probably a foul. He steals it away, though, Defoe. Johnson to the rim and the left.
The Cheshire Phoenix got to be careful here as well for all the good work they're doing. A couple careless plays here for them, and that'll be turnover number 12 for them as well.
And the Eagles just want to chip away. This game is far from over. If you can set a small goal for yourself, you got 3 minutes, 30 seconds left in this third quarter. Let's see if we can get it down to 10 points.
Well, win this quarter would be the thing, as Evans gets called for the foul. They currently trail this quarter by 4. We'll win this quarter by 3, as you say, it'll be down to 10.
Tonight's raffle is 590. 590 wins tonight's raffle.
Here's Mockford around the goal, dumps it off to Defoe, who went for the absolute monster jam. Threw it over the rim and out of bounds.
Well, he has 2 dunks today. I need to remind everyone at home watching, that's a 37-year-old jumping around here. A 20-something. It's a good contest from Teague. Defoe can't quite get it to go. 5 years ago, that's a top 10 play.
Absolutely. In year 19, to add that and a lot of miles on that body, just to have the authority to attempt it, says a lot about that guy.
Good hands from Donovan Johnson. Kyle Johnson comes away with it. Neighbor chasing him, but can't catch up. And laid in.
Again, another one. Phoenix have to remain focused here. These little plays create hope, and what you don't want is a Newcastle Eagles with hope.
That's a kick ball.
Love the intent there by Kyle Johnson. Made a couple of nice plays here tonight defensively. We saw the charge there earlier, a couple of steals out there on the break. And
he's had a big third quarter. He had 1 point at half time. He's now got 9 points personal. So he's been that guy propelling his team forward in this third quarter offensively and defensively.
Yeah, when we talk pregame, this guy can heat up pretty quickly. So Newcastle Eagles are gonna definitely need him down the stretch if they're gonna get out of here with the win.
Here's Hudson driving to the hole and finishing high off the glass.
Jack Hudson, the late addition. That's his second high difficulty shot this evening.
There's a high difficulty one from Mockford that misses everything. The referee just asking, did anybody get a touch on it? No is the answer. It will be a new Cheshire ball.
See, that's where you look at the body language. It didn't help that Ben Mockford was walking down the other way. You see Dave Cohen trying to drag his teammate down the other way. Sometimes you've got to play a little bluff game to get the advantage to swing your way.
I think Mockford was trying to claim there was a foul, and once he realised that wasn't being called, stolen away by Cohen. And another run out for the Newcastle Eagles. That's been the one thing keeping them alive here in the third quarter.
Yes, using that defense to fuel that offense as Cone joins the party and gets in the passing lane there and flies to the opposite side for two.
Cone's been positive as well on that end of the floor. You can just tell he's trying to make a nuisance of himself.
19 points from turnovers for Newcastle. Cheshire have 17, by the way. Gets his own rebound. Neighbour's got to get it away. Didn't get it off in time. It'll be a shot clock violation.
Wow. You can see everyone in this arena with gasp when Will Neighbour had the ball in his hands with the shot clock winding down, because they have been punished by him on a few occasions. But that was a good collective effort there from the Eagles. It was a little bit chaotic. The guys are flying everywhere, but who cares how pretty it looks as long as you get the end result, and that's to get a stop.
Mockford, room for three, and he makes them pay.
Wow, much needed. 3-pointers have been few and far between. 2 for 5 now from the 3-point line for the Eagles.
Critical minute here. Newcastle Eagles can gobble up a stop.
Said win the quarter. They're winning this quarter now, 19-18. Here's Neighbour again late in the shot clock to the fall away. There's going to be a foul in there, and the foul is going to be on Cheshire Phoenix, and it's on Maceo Jack.
Good additional defense there. Ben Mockford just getting stuck in, isn't he? He's known for a shooter. They hire him for his shooting, but he's done little things here and there today to make the difference.
Yeah, all night long we've seen him attacking the basket and they're mixing it in for the rebound. He knows what's at stake here for the Eagles, knowing how desperate they are for a win. So out there, the veterans setting the tone here tonight.
Jack's third foul, so he sits down. Cherobia being backed down, but French unable to score.
He did the hard part, didn't he? Had really good position there, used his body, but the finish just isn't there. Possibly still on the other continent as he's been here for 24 hours.
Anderson spinning baseline. T crashes into Cone. The two referees look at each other, just making sure that they agree with each other. They're going to have a little chat. It's an offensive foul that's the call. I think that one's the right call.
And the difference in this play is, to go back to your point, Dan, is Cone is a little bit more squared up. He has his chest in front. So a great call, great job by the referees there, huddling up, making sure they get the call right. Great charge there by Cone.
Teague now on 3 fouls, so he sits down. There's a couple of them, and obviously they're a little shorter in terms of their rotation. It's going to be an offensive foul. French. In his first game, he's got to get called for a moving screen. He's not been here for the first 2 months of the season where everybody else has.
Well, I'm sure he'll get the memo and he'll learn quick, fast, and in a hurry. You got to have those 2 feet planted. Can't move an inch of your body, else that whistle will be blown quick.
What is the thing with like new big guys coming in here? It's like wherever they've been playing before, moving screens is a legal capacity. Like, why do they keep doing that?
Well, timeout has been called by Ben Thomas to try and draw up a play with 6.5 seconds remaining in this quarter to get one more score and win the quarter, so to go out of the third quarter with a bigger lead than they came into, which didn't look like it was a guarantee at times in this period.
Yeah, and if I'm the Cheshire Phoenix, I'm looking to get something going downhill because you're in the bonus right now. Put some pressure on the Newcastle Eagles defense and see if you can get to the free throw line here. But on the flip side, the Eagles got to get out of here with a stop. They're within striking distance here, but we all know how finishing quarters are big momentum plays.
Well, it's the fans who are within striking distance right now. They're ready and waiting for the third quarter chuck-a-duck competition that they do. There's hundreds of them on the sidelines. They just got to wait another 6.5 seconds first. Here comes Evans. Hudson misses everything for three. Well, the Newcastle Eagles have taken 1 point out of the lead in the third quarter. They still have another 12 to work on. Have they got it in them to come from behind and win here in Newcastle? Or will Cheshire hang on for an important victory for them? We're at the end of three. It is the Newcastle Eagles 47, the Cheshire Phoenix 59. We will have the final 10 minutes when we return. Welcome back to the Virtue Motors Arena, where the Newcastle Eagles trail by 12 here against the Cheshire Phoenix. Phoenix without their talisman, Larry Austin, but doing a great job through three quarters. Can they see it over the line? Mockford attacks, misses everything.
Again, tough team defense there by the Cheshire Phoenix. Keeping Ben Mockford out the paint. Coming up with the rebound.
Evans, top of the key. Rebound pulled in by French.
Jamal Anderson's defense on Hamlet's been incredible today. The play before, you saw Jamal Anderson just harass him. And Jamal Anderson's foot speed is just as quick as a guard, but he's 6'8", long. That occasion he gets called for the foul, which is not really not a lot of contact there, but he's made very few mistakes on the defensive end, as well as being perfect from the offensive end with his 14 points.
And here he is again doing the defensive work. Trying to attack Hamlet. He's looking for something. He finds a teammate in Evans. Donovan Johnson with the rebound.
And speaking of Anderson, that defense translates. I saw him a couple weeks ago for Team GB, guarding some of the best players we have in the world, and there was no drop off. Amazing on the ball defense, and like you say, and using his length there.
Well, that's a total miscommunication there.
And that's normal for a team that hasn't played together. You know, it's new players, and the point guard in his head feels the big should be somewhere and the big not on the same page.
Well, the big hasn't learned that play yet. Here's Anderson, top of the key, and he continues to be perfect. He is 6 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the line for 16 points.
Mr. Perfect, I think, is the appropriate name tag. He has been immaculate both ends of the floor.
Johnson for 3, strings it.
Big shot from Donovan Johnson. He quite likes that little, like, hot before he shoots, doesn't he? It's his rhythm shot. Looks confident in doing it.
Jerovia. Anderson, this time he returns the favor to Hamlet, draws the foul from him.
Just a little too much contact there from Hamlet. You see that arm across, and because of the foot speed there, after the catch and drag through from Anderson, Hamlet knows that unless he does that, Anderson's got a lane to the hoop.
But a veteran play there by Anderson, knowing that he's going to close up tight on him and extending the arms on the rip through to make sure that he draws contact there.
Evans, nice. Oh my goodness! Thrown into the bleachers by French.
Oh, French came across there. He came across quickly and just slaps the ball out of the air. Wow.
And the Newcastle Eagles could use a little bit more of that moving forward.
Well, they haven't seen a lot of that this year.
Yeah.
Neighbor almost banks it in. Probably, French has fallen, but he's able to keep possession for his team.
Incredible effort again by French to be able to hit the floor as hard as he did to regain possession.
Kyle Johnson gets fouled and goes through the contact and to his feet. Pumps his chest as he will go to the line for a bonus free throw.
Not only does it get Cole Johnson going, it gets his teammates going and everyone in this arena going. Energy play.
Gets a lead into single figures as well. It's a great finish.
Really tough.
With the hang time, switches sides with the ball and draws the contact and get the and one.
He converts the three-point play. Defense the cry from the home fans. The gap is 8. Can Newcastle keep this momentum going? 7 minutes for them to overturn that gap. Neighbor onto Teague. Teague driving to the basket. Throws it in off the glass. Wow.
Goodness me, that was difficult, wasn't it? Left hand finish from Teague.
Johnson almost lost it. Here's French now. Johnson from behind the arc. Anderson with the rebound and does the wise thing. Just find a point guard. Let's get into a play. Daniels. Shot clock getting low again. Daniels through, needs to go up here. Teague fires it away. And front iron. Cone pushing it. Nice pass. And it's Johnson. 2 points again for Johnson.
And that's what Cohen's so good at, and you want him to do more for this team. Transition, push the ball. In less than 2-3 seconds, he's already threading the pass for his teammate for the finish.
And the Eagles just got to keep digging out stops here, like we talked about. You want to be in striking distance here late with 5 minutes to go, down 8 points.
Anderson cutting back door. It's knocked away by Johnson. Here come the Eagles again. Donovan Johnson for 3. Hits it! And Ben Thomas calls for time because the Newcastle Eagles are on a roll. They've cut the gap down to 5.
They've turned this game on its head, and it's been energy. It's been on the defense end. Great push to the basketball again from Cohen. And Donovan Johnson, he loves a big shot. Jumps into this one, knocks it down.
Well, it's just come from a couple of transition plays led by David Cohen and finished on that occasion by Donovan Johnson. And Eagles now, 5 minutes to go, 5-point game, right back where they want to be. Got to keep this momentum going, coming out of this timeout here, Drew.
Absolutely, and what we've seen all season long is the drop-off, right? But the question is can they sustain this, a timeout there to break the momentum? But they got to be able to carry this forward. What's been working for them in this last 3 or 4 minutes is using their offense to get out in transition. They got the horses, the thoroughbred to get out there, but you can't run when you're taking the ball out the net. So been doing a great job. Started there by French early, setting up with the block, and now everybody's getting involved on that end of the ball.
11 of the 15 points that have been scored in this quarter have been scored by the home team. That is why the gap is only 5. They've been chasing since that opening quarter where they gave up 31 points. They've got most of it back, but they haven't got it all back yet.
And they got the crowd behind them. This crowd has been waiting to get off their seats all night long. So a great defensive stop here, and these guys will blow the roof off.
I thought for a second Cohen was going to steal it away.
Huge play for Phoenix here.
Yep. Neighbor has a size advantage here. Oh, that pass isn't going to reach Jack. It's deflected out of bounds. I got it. I lost it.
Roberts with a left hand.
Come on, Roberts. That was
You should have had it. I was ready for my moment. You see it deflected away. And it came right to me. Just a good cut there by the director to get out of that replay before they saw my turnover.
Looked like he was backing away from him, man. You got to get in the game.
With the block. Johnson couldn't quite keep it in play.
Now the tension mounting up now for both teams. You can see the urgency as well from the Phoenix, who understand now the predicament they're in. They're in a fight. They're in a battle here. It's a team that was up by 20. Would you rather be the away team or the home team?
Well, Eagles have the momentum. Evans trying to take it away and deflates the building with a 3.
That's the gamble by Darius Defoe, and that's the gamble that pays off if you get the steal, but it'll cripple you if you don't. And on that occasion,
nice pass. And here's a man who's certainly come to play in the fourth quarter, Carl Johnson, with another 2.
And Newcastle looking a lot more cleaner on the offensive end, moving without the basketball. The ball's not getting sticky. See if they can carry this forward for the last 4 minutes.
Can't go score for score, though. Need to string together a couple of stops. He scores. Neighbor backing down to the fall away. Leaves it short. There's a stop.
Another good defensive stop there. Donovan Johnson just trying to use his body, make things difficult for Will Neighbor.
Carl Johnson out to Cohen, deep 3. Oh, and he hits it! He halves the deficit. It's a 3-point game.
And what's particularly interesting,
stolen away by Cohen to backcourt. To backcourt. He stole the ball, but he threw it from the front court into the backcourt. There's nothing you can do about it. They're booing it. It's the right call. It's great hustle from him. There was nothing else he could do.
Yeah, but I like the intent from the Newcastle Eagles. They're trying to get stops. We've seen Cohen all night long doing those little things, getting in the passing lane, and taking the challenge of Marcus Evans, who we know is one of the top guards in this league.
Evans looking to attack, gets into the lane. Nice.
This is where you're glad you've got a guy like him on your roster. Marcus Evans, he's a guy who thrives in this environment. He likes the high-stake, high-pressure shots, and you see them isolating now with him.
Cohen looking to attack this time. Just bumped. Not a great foul. He's kind of stuck in the corner with 8 on the shot clock. It's his third.
No, I agree, and Phoenix have to be just as disciplined as the Eagles do on the defensive end. But this is what they want. They want the ball in the hands of David Cohen because he's making things happen.
Kyle Johnson is blocked by Neighbor, the length of Will Neighbor. Oh, Cohen steals it right back!
Wow, perfect time there. Put his body on the line, didn't he?
He could easily have hurt himself there, but he timed it to perfection. Mockford. Down to defer. Oh, I think he was just thinking about what he was going to do with it before he got the ball there, Darius.
Tough possession there. Just Jonathan Johnson didn't quite have the angle for that post-entry pass, but as you mentioned there,
here's that steal. Look at that. He's got the big man running at him. Just timed to perfection. Brilliant play.
Excellent steal from David Cohen.
Still a 5-point lead. 2.5 to go here. The Knicks with the ball. Evans, big shot for 3, and he hits it! Oh, Marcus Evans with a clutch three-pointer to push the Cheshire Phoenix back up 8.
That's as big as they come. Didn't need a lot of room there. Just found himself a nice little pocket behind that screen. Oh, big shot from Evans.
And you mentioned about thriving in the moment. That's what big-time players do. Down the stretch, give me the ball, calm, pose, collect it, knocks it down, forces Stoodle and the Newcastle Eagles into a timeout.
Well, they're going under the screen on Marcus Evans. He's only shot 20% from the three-point line this season, but he is 3 of 7 now tonight on that one. You kind of understand why they've gone under, because they're worried about him attacking the basket a little more than the 3, but he made them pay on that occasion.
Yeah, that is the scouting report. You want to go underneath, but Cohen made a mistake there. When you go underneath, you got to connect quickly. And so he never got reconnected to Marcus Evans, left him way too much space, and any professional with 3 or 4 feet of space is going to knock it down.
Well, Newcastle have clawed their way back into this game, but is that 3 from Marcus Evans taking him to 15 points, and the 4 steals he's got as well. Is that the one that sends Cheshire too far ahead? Still a lot of time to go here. Mockford to the rim. Again, the length of Neighbor made that a difficult shot.
And again, it goes back to putting individuals in those situations where their strength, as well as Ben Mockford's done attacking today, that's not his strength. Being contested by the bigger, longer defender.
Cheshire running along offense here. Oh, and Evans, that's what you want to take away. They didn't take it away. He got to the rim, he laid it in, and he stretched the lead to 10. There's going to be a substitution here for Hamlet to return.
And that's some of the things that's just going to take time to improve. Is that the intent and the attitude has been better, but that's the Newcastle Eagles defense. That's what we've seen now over the sample size of this season. It's the, you know,
somebody gets beat, there's nobody behind.
There's no secondary defense, no.
And you can say, well, don't get beat, but there still needs to be a secondary guy, because nobody doesn't get beat every time.
No, it's collective team defense. And here's David Cohen again on the floor, like he has, but he gets a nice little forearm held down there from Teague.
Well, 107 seconds remain in the game. There's still just enough time for Newcastle, but they're going to need something spectacular here. Cohen for three.
Got it! What a shot! Wow, he's had an excellent game. Dave Cohen. They need to place a little bit more emphasis on his production now in this dying 90 seconds of this game.
11.7 assists, 3 steals for him. But here's Evans again. Beats his man to the rim.
He's just been the closer, isn't he?
Yep.
Any little bit of hope for the Eagles. Marcus Evans is without a cross.
It out, hasn't he? Johnson for 3. Evans can't quite get the rebound, but he does manage to reach around Defoe and deflect it away.
He's done that a few times today. He's got called for a foul on, I think, one occasion, but when he gets beat, he doesn't give up on the plays. Tries to cause havoc there with that reach around.
Reminds me of a former teammate of yours, Tyler Bernardini. Loved to reach.
He did indeed. The reacher.
The reacher. Johnson from the elbow, off the mark. And that could be that. Well, they battled hard, Newcastle. You can't knock the effort. But when it mattered, Marcus Evans was able to make them pay at this end of the floor. And now from the elbow. Doesn't go. 9 points in 40 seconds. It's got to be in threes. They haven't got long. They've got to shoot. That's not a bad foul from Anderson there. Oh no, they're over the limit. It is a bad foul. Sorry, I thought that was the 4th.
I don't know, Dan. It's a team that need threes.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yes, you stop the clock, but you prevent a miraculous 3 from Cohen or Johnson. Either Johnson.
And 33 seconds to go. A few of them in the Virtue Motors Arena who've seen enough and making their way to the exits. If you think about it, the anomaly in this game is the 31 points Cheshire scored in the first quarter, and Newcastle have never fully recovered from that.
Well, it's really hard to start playing defense too when guys are up and they're confident. You start a quarter hard. It's really difficult for the away team to assert themselves in a game and feel comfortable in someone else's arena. But
and the thing is, 44 points in 3 quarters is not bad. Newcastle would take that. But out of context of the 31 in the first quarter, Newcastle have scored better in each quarter. But again, I'm talking about the 31 because it's the big number, but 11 is not enough either. They were down 20 at the end of that first quarter.
Oh, it wasn't good enough by both ends of the floor. There was nervousness there. You can sense the way that the team were playing. Sometimes when you're so fearful of losing, it can cripple you to prevent you from winning because you're trying to be extra secure, too tentative, and they were in the first quarter.
Newcastle's playing hard to the buzzer, but a little too hard. That one's another foul. Of course, with teams playing each other 4 times now, these points at the end of the game, even though the result is no longer in doubt, do matter because points difference in a head-to-head could come into play should these teams finish level. Well, they're not going to commit another foul now. And I think Cheshire will just dribble it out. He wants to give the referee the ball. The referee has to wait for the buzzer to down. And that'll do it. And Cheshire Phoenix, what a result for them. They've come here without Larry Austin, their talisman, but Ben Thomas and his team have put on a show here. An incredible performance, led pretty much from tip to buzzer. And he'll be delighted with this result.
Oh, incredible performance. And this was a Cheshire Phoenix team as well at 5-7. Feel like they're underperforming so far this year. So this was a must-win for them as well. And what do we say? Addition by subtraction. Take away Larry Austin Jr., who's been their star player. Insert an energized Anderson. 16 points personal for him. 6 for 6 from the field. And Marcus Evans, how good was he down the stretch? 19 points personal, and he was the closer. Excellent in the fourth quarter.
And Teague really good as well. Teague with a very impressive 14 and 8, 4 assists, 4 steals as well. he did a lot of different things for them, Teague, tonight.
He did, and I like Teague because he's not afraid of the big moment. There's points in that game where the momentum was swung, and Jeff Teague came up with a big play.
11 three-pointers for the Cheshire Phoenix at 45%. Really great effort from them. Both teams turning it over a little too much, but it made for the entertainment of the game, the way they got up and down the floor, these two teams.
Well, this is a game of momentum swings, and that's why we love it. You know, there was a point in time where you think, uh-oh, the away team's in trouble here. But the resilience there of the Cheshire Phoenix shone through, and they snatched back the momentum and finished with an 8-point win.
Well, we talked about the impressive stat line for Teague. He is now with Drew.
Teague, no Larry Austin, no problem for your ball club. How were you able to pull out a critical victory in a hostile environment?
Man, you played great, all right? I just want to say it was give thanks to God, you know, first and foremost. And I just want to say our defense pulled it out. You know, we got up big, but, I mean, watching us, we been up plenty of times, 20 in the first quarter, and we just, you know, emphasized our defense first. I mean, our offense been slacking sometimes all year, so we just told them we've been here plenty of times, up 20, tie game, down, so we just stick to our defense first. That boy is superstar. Y'all see him? That's my dog. He's up, man.
And we see your teammates there, Evans, congratulating you. And along with Larry Austin, what was the focus coming in knowing that he wouldn't be available tonight?
You know, Larry's one of our best defenders, so we just, you know, next man up. That's always been our thing. You know, we've been battling injuries all year, so we just said next man up. I mean, he's out, but it's no difference, you know, same game plan. Start on the defensive end, and I think we proved it. And then they went on a run, but that's basketball, so we just stay locked in on defense.
And finally, your team has been up and down all season. How do you ride this momentum forward?
I feel like, you know, just keep getting better each and every day. You know, same thing, don't get too high on the wins, too lows on the losses, and just buckle down and just, you know, defense first. That's what we emphasize all year.
Congratulations on a great road win.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, defense first was very much the MO for the Phoenix in the first quarter, holding the Eagles to just 11 points and, of course, rolling their own offense, hitting 31, which was the absolute game-changing quarter, of course, in this one. And Tajay Teague, 14 points, 8 defensive boards. He had 4 assists as well, and we know they've been on the ground for the Phoenix this season.
Yeah, I think he did a great job, you know, game plan. They got the ball into him inside, forcing the double teams, and he was able to pass out of the post and create a lot of offense through playing down low, and then he could step out, make big shots when it counted as well. So it was a great all-round performance by Teague.
He had backup. We've got to talk Jamal Anderson, we've got to talk Marcus Evans, and I guess, as Drew was alluding to in the interview with Tajay, we've got to talk about this overall Phoenix performance without Larry Austin. Makes it all the more impressive.
Yeah, no, like you said, defense is the heart for the Cheshire Phoenix, and they all stepped up. They got some big steals, really made it disrupted the rhythm of the Eagles, held them to 67 points. That's a great all-round performance.
When you look at this game in totality, you're scratching your head at what the hell happened in that first quarter, both offensively for the Phoenix, making so much hay, and defensive for them as well, completely stifling Newcastle. Why was it such an outlier quarter for the Eagles?
You know, like I said, I said they had the focus of defense, and they gave up 31 points in the quarter. It looked like they just gave up.
You know, pre-game they came in saying, this is what we're concentrating on.
They were focused on the defense, and it looked like they just literally gave up. So the game plan from Cheshire Phoenix was get the ball inside. Eagles were trying to protect the paint, but they forgot to guard the three-point line, and that really kind of shook up the Eagles when Cheshire Phoenix started hitting shots, and then it was all hell broke loose after that. So many gaps, people over-rotating. The game plan was out the window.
Jamal Anderson, honourable mention for him in terms of the MVP discussion. He had a perfect game, Jamal, today. Impressive stuff from him. And we said at the top of the show that it felt like he was carrying the Phoenix on his shoulders at times this season. Had a bit of help from his friends tonight, but nevertheless, a really impressive night for Jamal.
Jamal is a really impressive player, and I think for me, he is the model professional. Every day he's putting in work, he eats the right foods, he works out, he stretches, he does all the recovery. Like, Jamal has just proved year in, year out that he's willing to get better, and that's for me is the biggest thing to watch his improvement, especially from his outside shot.
Yeah, well, his defensive prowess we know all too well. 6 defensive boards for him tonight, but 16 points really contributing to this Phoenix total. He was the second highest scorer on the court for Cheshire. comfortable stuff in the end, an 8-point cushion. Marcus Evans, the other player that we want to pick out, other than Will Neighbour, of course, too, actually, because seeing as he flagged him at the top. Let's start with Marcus, 19 points. Ant Rowe, at the end of comms, they called him the closer, which I thought was a very apt description because he seemed to heat up just when the Phoenix needed it.
What a fourth quarter from Evans. You know, he really stepped up, took control of the ball, made some big shots, and then opened the gaps for him too. After he started making those outside shots, got to the basket for some easy finishes and really iced the game.
Let's get the reaction now from, I'm sure, a very happy Cheshire Phoenix head coach Ben Thomas. He's called Cyber Drew.
Coach, you talked pregame about needing to get your offense going, but in the end, it was that number 3rd ranked defense that got it done. How were you able to slow down Hamlin and company?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a huge focus on offense, and I think the first quarter we really seen a lot of the stuff that we've been working on this week. But obviously they made adjustments and they made it tougher for us, and you know, we relied on our defense at times and it got us over the line, so we're really happy. You ask about Hamlet, obviously a really good scorer. We just had to make sure that we limit his touches whenever we could, but when he did have the ball in his hands, we knew we wanted him to take those outside shots. We wanted to bait him into taking those and sort of make sure that anything in the mid-range or that floater that he likes to get to is going to be a real tough shot.
Yeah, and no Larry Austin, so just talk about the Marcus Evans performance down the stretch and guys like Teague and Anderson stepping up tonight.
Yeah, it's been behind the scenes. It's been a bit of a tough week. Obviously, no Larry all week. Mike hasn't trained all week. He's had a dead leg since the London game, so it's been real tough. You know, Marcus is new all week that he's going to be the only guard playing big minutes. You know, we sort of brought him out over the quarters just to give him a bit of an extended break, and you know, clutch time, he came big for us. You know, made a couple of big threes, got to the basket. We put the ball in his hands, and he looked after it at that important stage of the game.
And we talked again about how you guys have had an up and down season. How do you guys get more performances like tonight?
I mean, we've got to rely on our defense, okay? We're not going to win a lot of games if the opposition's scoring 80, 90 points consistently. If we can hold them to 60s and 70s, which we are doing, we give ourselves a great chance. But our offense does have to get better. We have to see more of what we've seen in the first quarter today, more consistent throughout the games.
Hey, Coach, great job tonight. Great win.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Yeah, they needed it. I mean, they're higher in the table than Newcastle at the start of proceedings, but of course the Eagles have games in hand. It's been in different form for Cheshire, so that's a key win for them in terms of the ambition they started the season with.
Definitely a big win, and like I said, I think they got the game plan spot on, getting the ball inside, really kind of penetrate that defence from the Eagles, and it really left them flustered.
Let's talk Will Neighbour, because you did key in on him at the top of the show, particularly when we found out that Larry Austin wasn't going to play, and you absolutely called it because he was instrumental in that first quarter in particular.
Definitely got off to a great start, and like I said, he causes so many mismatch problems. As a big 7-footer can shoot the three, who guards him? So the Eagles started with the 5-man on him. He lit it up from three-point line. They made a switch to put Donovan Johnson on and kind of calmed them down a little bit. But yeah, Will Neighbour is a big piece for that Cheshire Phoenix team.
What do you think the ceiling is for the Phoenix team this season?
You know, I always say this, it's a really tough question for them. If they can stick with it defensively and start to ramp up their defense, you know, offensively, you know, top 5, top 6 team, definitely.
And dangerous to meet in the playoffs if they can turn the screw defensively like they did for much of tonight.
And that's the scary thing about defense. Get a good playoff run with some solid defense, you're right in the mix.
All right, big night for the Phoenix, important win for them. Disappointed, particularly given the fight back that the Eagles showed in the second half. Let's catch up with their head coach, Mark Stuthel. He's got Cyber Drew.
Coach, another disappointing loss tonight. What's your observation of the performance?
Yeah, we use the consistency word. You know, 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes of the game, I think, you know, we held them to 44 points. 31 point first quarter on our home court is just unacceptable, the way that we started the game defensively. So, you know, we talk about some fight and, you know, some defensive application for those last 30 minutes, but those first 10 minutes were unacceptable.
And we see the potential of this team in spurts, and you mentioned it there, consistency. How do you get this team to be consistent over the course of 40 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, that's the magic question at the minute, Drew. You know, we're trying to re-emphasise the basics on a daily basis. You know, little things starting with ball pressure. I think when we do that, you know, we're a solid defensive team. When we guard screens, the way that we work on guarding screens, I think we're a solid defensive team. When we rebound them, we're one and done. We're a solid defensive team. We have to do it for longer periods.
Yeah, Coach, thanks for your professionalism and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Difficult situation for him, obviously. His first season here, struggling. The team is struggling so far, I think it's fair to say. But at the same time, he'll take a lot from the fight back that you saw tonight.
And that's the thing, it's so bittersweet. They actually played 3 quarters of good basketball. You know, they were ramped up, playing good defense, diving on loose balls. But that first quarter, they were just shook, and that cannot happen. If they want to win games, you cannot be giving up 31 points in a quarter.
Is it credit as well to Coach Stutl, not just in terms of the adjustments that he made, but also the inspiration that he engendered in his team? The guys called out in comms, didn't they? During one of the timeouts, and he was really impassioned and really, really giving it to the team, and the fans behind the bench applauding, and we saw a real reaction from his team.
And that reaction works, you know, if that's what's going to spur them on. But you have to find a way to get that reaction. You have to get players up for the game. If you're not going to be able to do it from a shouting perspective, maybe something has to change with the lineup. Fans
love their Eagles here in Newcastle, and even though it's been a tough season to date, you can see they're still hanging around, getting autographs, getting pictures. They love their basketball here in the Northeast, and they love Kyle Johnson, his first season here as an Eagle, and he was the standout player for Newcastle tonight. Shot 17, almost 60% clip as well, and really a key protagonist in that comeback, Kieran.
Yeah, I love the way Kyle played today. He got off to a rough start, got into early foul trouble, but he's moving well off the ball. I said he cannot be ball dominant in this team. They've got Hamlet, they've got Cohn. He's going to have to find ways to score another, and he did that. He was cutting off the ball, offensive rebounds, posting up when there was a smaller guard, got some outlets on the break. Great, another great cut for an easy finish. He can score the ball, but he's going to have to rely on his teammates to make it more productive.
You mentioned Javion Hamlet. He had a quiet night by his high standards. How did Cheshire manage to keep him in check?
I said at the start, by them scoring the ball earlier on, it really kind of slowed Hamlet down, but they really compacted the paint. Coach Ben Thomas mentioned that they tried to have him, bait him into shooting the shot, and Hamlet didn't want to settle. He wanted to get downhill, but instead of being super aggressive, he was giving the ball up a little bit more tonight and trying to get his teammates involved.
Donovan Johnson impressed you as well, particularly. We talked about his lack of discipline at times this season, but he was very measured tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did a great job defensively, had all the tricks. He did a really good job on Will Neighbour, got some big rebounds, he can hit the outside shot as well. When he is on the court, he is bringing impact every single time.
Speaking of bringing impact, time for our play of the day, and a brand new signing here, of course, making a name for himself. Talk us through this one from Hassan French.
This is what the Eagles need. They want a rim protector right here, getting over on the help side, get that out of here. That was delightful.
Is that where we're going with that one? He looked a no-nonsense character, I think it's fair to say, Hassan French, isn't he?
What a wingspan as well. A little bit undersized, big, but got the wingspan, got those arms, hands in the air. He's a 7-footer.
Yeah, positives. We're drawing the positives for Newcastle. There, of course, is a long way to go. It's a long road, but they've got to start getting some wins rolling soon. There is more action in the BBL this weekend, including a double-header on both Saturday and Sunday. Surrey take on Leicester, and Bristol take on the Sheffield Sharks on Saturday. On Sunday, talk about the definition of a road trip, Caledonia-Plymouth. And then Cheshire back in action against Surrey. Of course, the Scorchers playing back-to-back games, and they are right at the bottom of the table right now, so they need to kickstart things soon as well, or they're going to be cut adrift pretty soon. So final thoughts then for both Cheshire and Newcastle from you, Kieran. What are the strongest positives that Newcastle could take out of tonight?
I think the strongest positive is that they can compete. They are in the game. It's just that consistency. But for me, being biased from a league perspective, these are teams that are struggling, and they're high quality teams. It's a very, very competitive league this year.
It certainly is, and the action is coming thick and fast right here on Sky Sports. We might have been away last week, we might have missed a couple of weekends because of the league action on hold with cup action, but we are back in full effect in December.
Great energy from the lines again on the board. Washington strings the three. Rebound. Behind the back to Decker. Decker down the lane with the flush. Oh, he throws it on the back to himself. Oh, have you ever seen anything like it?
3 absolutely cracking games to look forward to in December, starting with the Riders Gladiators next Friday night. We're on air 7:30 on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports Mix for a 7:45 tip. But that's all from us here in Newcastle. Great to see you back, big man. I hope you've enjoyed the action. The Cheshire Phoenix getting that all-important win. Newcastle Eagles, will they go again? We'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.